Yo, it's the Master Connector coming at you, live and direct. This ain't AI, it's that real human connect. Yo, welcome to the Master Connector show, where the real ones pull up and the energy grow. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we live. LinkedIn and YouTube, where the real ones vibe. Started back in 2020, now the movement legit. Hundreds of episodes, and we still never quit. Steve Spiro, the Master Connector on attack. Rob Genovese, the brand builder, got his back. Two introverts, turned masters of connection. 28 years deep, built on trust and direction. No fake networking, no pinch slapping attacks. We build real relationships, and that's all facts. Famous guests, athletes, authors, TEDx flames. Military leaders elevating the game. Packed 30 minutes, but the impact hits strong. Jump in the comments and connect all show long. Be authentic, stay others focused, have grit, build community strong.
Yeah, that's how we are.
Be authentic, stay others focused, have grit, build community strong.
All right. I'm navigating here. Bear with me here. Doing my thing. All right, here we go. There we go. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Master Connector show. I am flying solo in a way because Rob is enjoying the 4th of July weekend. I believe he's in New Hampshire with his family. So way to go, Rob. And he always is gracious enough to fill in for me whenever I have stuff going on. So appreciate you, Rob. Enjoy, have fun. We miss you, but you're where you need to be with family. So, but welcome, everybody. Happy 4th of July coming weekend. It's a big one this year, right? We got the 250-year anniversary of this amazing country. So happy 4th for those who celebrate. I know we get people around the world, so not everybody in the U.S., but I'm proud to be an American. Sorry, if you don't like it, sorry. But it's what it is, right? But we're pumped, and got an incredible show ahead of us. So as you know, Rob does a great job kind of opening the show. I'm going to fill in here, but listen, we are big on LinkedIn participants. So if you're watching the show, we don't know you're on unless you're in the comments. So could you get in the comments? No, listen, it's the Master Connector show. So that means it's about connection. So get in there. Listen, you could connect with some of the other folks that are in the show with us, watching and participating. So get in the comments, connect with each other, tell us where you're from, city, state, country, wherever. And yeah, make sure to, connect. You could also, share what you do for work. It's all good. But we give you an opportunity throughout the show to make sure you're participating in other ways, right? We want to hear your comments. If you have any questions or comments, let's make sure, put them in the comments, right? Questions or any, obviously where you're tuning in from, like we talked about. And then, whatever else is on your mind. We have people all over the place. I know Yolanda's on with us here, and Yolanda, we appreciate you big time. She's like an incredible community member of the show. I could always count on having Yolanda here with us, but appreciate you big time, Yolanda. But anyway, we're going to get things rolling here. And so what's going on, everyone? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct as the video. And if you like that rap video intro, let us know. I'd love to hear it because that was fun putting that together. But I got a question for you guys. What if we've been climbing the ladder of success only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall? It's funny because I really loved, so every week leading up to the show, I get an opportunity to kind of, put some content together and, related to the show coming up. And this one's an interesting one. And today's show is about fulfillment. Let me see if I can find it here. Again, I'm trying to do two things at one time here. But I'll find it. But it's on fulfillment. It's basically fulfillment is greater than success. And it's going to be a great show here. There it is. See that? I knew I had it somewhere. But anyway, that was great thinking about that, because you know what? For years and years and years, as a guy that was bullied, picked on, and all these things as a kid, and dyslexic, I was written off by a lot of people. The way that I dealt with that was I had a chip on my shoulder, and I always wanted to show those people wrong. And my way of showing them wrong was success. And my definition of a success for a long, long time was, nicer house or bigger car, nicer car, or how much money in the bank account, or titles or whatever. And that was okay for a while, and it was a season. But over time, I realized to me, it was really fulfillment was really for me impact. And my idea of success, and you may have heard me if you've watched the show, I talk about a lot, which is to me, success is not those things. It's how many people are better off because you were in their life. It's what drives me to be a speaker. So we're going to talk about that. We're tonight. I say tonight because I do a lot of stuff in the evening too. But we're going to talk about today. So if you're excited, like I know you are, put in the comments. Let's go, and we're going to bring on our amazing guests. So put in the comments. Let's go, and let's get this ball rolling. So okay, Anthony. Okay, Anthony Sparks is a serial entrepreneur, coach, author, philanthropist, and a personal development specialist. As a husband, you might see it in his background, as a husband and father of four, he believes that his greatest success begins at home. Over nearly 2 decades, he's built companies generating millions in revenue while leading an organization of more than 350 people. Through his work, he's helped individuals eliminate millions of dollars of debt, increase their incomes, and build stronger financial futures. He's also the author of the Phoenix Manifesto, co-author of the Extraordinary Excellence podcast, and co-founder of Operation Impact and the annual punk rock run for mental health awareness. Please welcome to the show the amazing, the awesome Anthony Spark.
Hey guys, good to see you. I loved your rap video.
I appreciate that. No, it's yeah, you were saying backstage that you use the use Suno as well, right?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, with all the copyright stuff, when you speak with all the music, I just make my own music. So this way, you know, you own it. It's yours. You can use it. It's a lot of fun.
And Suno doesn't have an issue with that, right? There's no copyright challenges with Suno, right?
No, with Suno, as long as you have their pro membership, you own the music outright. Awesome. You can use it for commercial use. So.
It's awesome. Good stuff. Well, let's dig right into it, man. This has been 9 months in the making. So excited to have you here, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And I'm going to be the Wizard of Oz with all the levers and the buttons, doing everything all at the same time here behind the scenes, but also on the front guy as well. Don't look as ugly as that Wizard of Oz guy that's showing them on the movie.
No, you're good looking. You're good looking.
Almost a little better looking. Yeah, I appreciate that. Anyway, let's talk about fulfillment. So community #fulfillment in the comments, and we appreciate that. Yolanda, thank you again. She's welcoming you. So here's a question for you, Anthony. How did you personally discover that fulfillment matters more than success? And when was there a defining moment that changed your perspective?
Yeah. Well, I started in business right before my 18th birthday. I started in network marketing. Wow. And at that time in my life, it was the best opportunity I could find for me to build the life I wanted. And I came from a background. My mom was a single mom. My dad was in prison. I had been working full time since I was 15. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to go to medical school. I saw the network marketing opportunity. I always want to make a difference and make a lot of money. So I was always a worker. And I worked my guts out. I treated it like a business. I came from a small business background. I worked a full-time job, and I got together with my wife at 20. So I was able to leave my job at 25 from network marketing and build my business full-time doing that. My wife was able to leave her job right after her 30th birthday. But in my mid-20s was when I think for a lot of people, some of the assumptions that we make start to break down. And I was working nonstop. I would work full-time. I built my business full-time, and I was really just working. And there came a time where I almost got divorced from my wife. I've been with my wife since we've known each other since we're like 13, 14. We started dating when we were 20. And I was in a counseling session, and I had always thought, like you, and like most people in society, that you make a lot of money and you succeed. And, you know, it can also be alluring that you make a difference for people, but sometimes that can wrap into ego and reputation and fulfilling your needs in the wrong way, although that can be really great if it's properly channeled. But I had a session with a counselor, and he said, well, you're cheating on your wife. And I said, listen, I'm really messed up. I do a lot of things wrong, but I don't cheat on my wife. And he said, no, he said, your business is your mistress. And all you do is you put all your time and your energy into that, and you expect to leave the emotional and the scraps of time that are left, and that's what you put in your marriage. And as time went on, I think when we're young, we have these desires. We want to prove ourselves, like you mentioned. We want to achieve. We want to, whatever the sales organization, the levels are, the money, the success. And I think ultimately, unfortunately, most people find that to be a very Pyrrhic victory, where you win, but what you lose is much more valuable than what you win. So that was a real pivotal moment. And then as I started to kind of look, I found that a lot of the people, and not all, but I find that life is kind of like a four burner stove, right? And a lot of us, we like to assume that we can have all four burners at full blast. And you can, because if you have all four burners at full blast, the heat has to come from the other one. So very often we optimize this one burner, success or money or vocation or family or health. And the reality is for everybody, when you look, if you optimize one, others are going to have a natural suffering. Life's not a video game where you can get a cheat code and you can just get the character that has all the stats that are perfect. If you're faster, then you're not as strong. If you're stronger, you're not as fast. And, there's just always a trade-off. So as I started to really consider, I had my kids. I wasn't with my kids as much as I wanted. During COVID, my perspective really shifted because I was always out. And I was always working and I was always going, and I was in Massachusetts several times a month. I was in the city several times a month, and I didn't grow up with a regular family background. So I never really understood the value of having a dinner with your family at 5 or 6 o'clock. And from the ambition and the talk track I'd always kind of heard in business was you sacrifice everything. And that stuff's not important. And the family time and the events and these different things, they're not as valuable as success. They're kind of a waste of time. And on that axis, they are. But I was home and I was able to really start to see what it's like to not be out all of the time and to be with my wife and to go on walks every day and to have a home cooked meal and to cook a pizza every Friday at home with my twins. And so some of those situations really shifted, because if we really think in the future, you can't take any of the money with you. Money is utility. It has diminishing returns. And ultimately, as we do this, there's only so much that you need, but money is supposed to be used to trade for life. So that was some of the situations for me that really made me start to look and optimize that my relationships with my kids, me being emotionally present, my wife being supported, me having a deep, real, intimate relationship, and focusing on those things. There is a trade. There's a trade for me maybe making less money. There's a trade for me doing things, although we can become more efficient and better, but there is a trade. And I just, for myself, decided that if I'm going to look back 20, 30 years from now, I'm going to regret not being with my kids. I can always make more money.
I love that. And, I don't know if it happened for you. It sounds like maybe not the timing is exactly, but I had a shift similar. I think COVID helped. I
Yeah.
think it gave me some perspective. It gave me a chance to kind of step back and see. And I'm like, I'm spending all this time, going to networking meeting, all these kind of
Right.
things. And like, and then I saw the value of like, I could still do some networking, but I could do it through social media. I could do
Sure.
networking through doing Zoom calls instead of having to go for coffee and Zoom networking
Right.
events versus traditional ones. And I'm like, you know what, this actually works just as well. And I learned in that case the secret's not in the meeting itself, it's in the follow-up. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I love what you said. And obviously everyone has a different why and kind of what drives them. And we're married, no kids, but so not the same scenario as you, but I found myself since COVID having a lot more quality time than before.
Yeah.
I was just like you said, grinding, and I
Ooh,
love that.
sorry, I didn't mean to thumbs down you. That must have been my hands. I
No, you're
apologize.
good. You're good. I figured it was one of those things. It's cool that you have that though. It must be built in your camera or
I
something, I
think
guess,
so.
right? Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Well, let's keep the ball rolling. This is great, and we're already halfway point of the show, so much more to cover. But I think it's awesome that we're digging in here. So I want to keep the ball rolling with the next section here, and a lot of times you hear this phrase, especially in the spiritual realm. It's your calling,
Yeah.
and I believe I have one. My calling to me is to make an impact. It's to be the light. It's to inspire people. People say, "Oh, you're an inspirational speaker." No, no. They say you're a motivational speaker. I'm like, no. I'm an inspirational speaker because feel like motivation is an inside job. We've learned that, right, Anthony?
Yeah,
It's like,
sure.
but you got maybe you could inspire somebody to take some action to eventually maybe find you find that motivation they need to find within themselves. But calling, right? So let's talk about a community. Type in hashtag calling. So here's the question that I have for you. You talk about the difference between a job, career, and a vocation. How could someone recognize when they found their real true calling?
Yeah. And this is a journey for
Yeah,
everybody. Anyone that's just like, just read this book or do this, it's easy to sell something when you make it
right.
sound easier than it is. This also can change, but I did recently read a book that I found really good. It's a newer book that came out, which is called How to Start. I'll have to find the author.
Mm,
But it talks about the combination between need and craft. And it's finding what is the need in the
hmm.
market, and then what's
Yep.
the thing that you love to do. So a job is a way that you're providing and paying for your
Yep.
bills. And if you had unlimited resources, you probably wouldn't do that. That's a job. A career, at least for me, a career is something that you're doing longitudinally, that you're climbing a ladder, you're getting better at. There's some mastery to it. And that may be a vocation. It may not be a vocation. You know, a career is something that you're doing for decades and you've become excellent at it and you've climbed a ladder. A vocation, and I think the way that we know the difference is some things we do give us energy. Some things we do, we love doing it. And after, like, you could be exhausted and then you go and do it and you feel better. You feel better that you did it. There's some things we do that take energy and we do them, and they might be obligatory. There might be responsibility around it, but it's not adding to our fuel. There's not a sense of fulfillment from it. And this is different for everybody. So I think the vocation and the finding of that, I feel that because of the economic nature of things, the pressure, the amount of differences, a lot of people believe that they can't afford to
Mm,
pursue something that they love. And I financially, there may be an impact for sure. And I think that that's logical. But I think oftentimes we disregard the cost to our soul. And you could look at it that you can't afford to pursue something that you love, or you can look at it you can't afford not to pursue something that you love. And I find that we only have one life and it's
mm,
so fleeting. I just don't think it is worth staying in a place, an organization, a company, a job, a position, a location, a relationship that is not serving you, that is not what it's meant to be, that is not optimal. And when we leave these pegs in our life, career, vocation, job, relationship, that are good enough, very often it prevents you from finding the thing that's excellent and perfect, that would be amazing. And a lot of times we're comfortable and is a lot of fear. We don't want to change. The financial instability of changing can prevent us from maybe doing something that would have so many other intangible benefits. Now, ultimately, we have to pay our bills. We have to make money. That's where it's that need in the craft. But I think that that's a definition for me on those.
so I want to dig in on that one a little bit because we all know the personality styles, the disc, right? And I have D, but I have C as well. So there's that cautious piece. And so for those folks that are thinking, yeah, I'm not finding fulfillment at my current job. I know I need to do something else, but there's a risk around that, and I'm concerned maybe they have 4 kids like you, or a big, they have a decent lifestyle they have to support. What do you say to them to help
Yeah.
them make that transition?
I think that those are two different pieces, and it's very important that we separate them.
Sure.
A level of lifestyle is different than the responsibilities to provide for a family and to pay our
Yeah.
bills. And a lot of times people confuse those two. The cost of a higher lifestyle, if it's at the behest of living a life you truly love and doing something you love, I don't believe is worth the trade.
Mm,
Now it can sound easy, I mean, it sounds simple, or it sounds like a cliche if you haven't had a lot of money. But when you get the big house and you buy the watch and you have the money, it's a very disillusioning thing a lot of times for most people, because all of us that get that expect it to fill a lot of things it did not fill. It's not that it's not nice. It's not that it's not comfortable and there's not enjoyment. I'm not saying it's useless, but it does. We think it's going to do this when it
yeah.
really does this.
Yeah.
So I think that the best way, I think a lot of times we are not willing to acknowledge the fact that we could do something else in tandem. This idea of you have to quit everything and burn the boats, I think has a lot of cognitive survivor bias in it. And the survivorship bias is that if 1,000 people burn all the boats and quit everything and drop out of Harvard and start Google or Meta or whatever, if you don't look at the 997 out of the 1,000 that failed doing that, the survivor bias, it's like the planes that come back from World War II. They took all the planes, and many of you have probably heard this. You look at where all the bullet holes are, and they're like, we should reinforce. No, you need to reinforce where the bullet holes aren't. Those planes didn't come back. If you got bullet holes all over here, it doesn't make a difference. But we can choose to start to do something and not burn our whole life down, and start taking some classes and start reading and start learning and try something in a risk averse way that mitigates our risk, to find out what is the thing I want to do, to prove concept, to build something on the side, whether it be a podcast like you've done, it be writing, it be music. It doesn't, and sometimes we have a job and we have a passion, and our job is what pays our bills and our passion is what fills our soul. But it's important that it doesn't have to be everything. One thing doesn't have to be everything.
Yep. No, I love that. And I think ultimately there's a balance, right? And
Yeah.
you and I come from similar circles that, it's like we've heard success, you got to be out of balance for a while, right? Which I understand, maybe for a very temporary time, but you can't do that for a long time.
Acute. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I want to talk about balance a little bit, kind of relating to what you're saying a little bit. So community, type in #balance. And here's the question. Many people achieve success for sacrificing their health, relationships, or peace of mind. And why do you think that happens? And how could they avoid it? And you kind of touched on some of this, but I want to dig in a little bit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, for many people, they need to learn the lesson themselves. But for the few people that can hopefully take the hard-earned wisdom when people have done that and they've made the mistakes, people that say that they don't believe in balance, I'm not saying that they're wrong and I'm right, but I personally don't trust any of their advice, because for me, I don't believe you have to burn your whole life up to succeed. And if you do, it's not success.
Right.
And you have to have value. You have to be really clear on what your values are. So for a long time, I was told and thought that I had to reach a certain level of success, a certain level of income, to be afforded the luxury of enjoying my life and feeling accomplished. I believe that to be one of the most toxic lies that people end up accepting, because it is not true. It's not the truth. The reality of it is, does accomplishing a level of mastery and excellence require sacrifice? No doubt. As you mentioned, if we're going to become excellent at something, is there an acute period of time that you are going to have to take resources from other places? No doubt.
Sure.
But the question really needs to be clear of at what cost, and at what point are those resources you're taking going to make you fail in the things that matter the most? If I had stayed on the track that I was, I would be making a big 7-figure income, I believe, rather than a big 6-figure income. I would be in a position where culturally and organizationally, for the way that things are in a sales organization, I would be given a pedestal, and I would be divorced, and I wouldn't have my kids, and I'd have worse mental health issues than I suffered when I continued carrying that avatar and that caricature. I'm not here to ever say that the way someone else chooses to do things is wrong and I'm right. But the real advice I give to anybody is, what's right for someone else doesn't mean it's right for you. And if you don't have enough self-awareness and you don't have enough clarity of your syntax of values, you are going to make trades based on someone else's agenda. And you are probably not going to be happy with the consequences 5-10 years out, unless you're super clear and you really weigh the pros and cons of what that looks like for you.
Love that. There's incredible wisdom there. I think the bottom line is, there's no such thing as one size fits all or cookie cutter.
Correct.
Everybody is different. Everyone, and you got to figure out what's right for you. And that's some of the challenges with some cultures that just are looking to put everyone in that same kind of mold, if you will. And we're very different. We're humans, So, well, I want to finish up. We're getting close to the tail end of the half hour, which is crazy because this flew by. But to me, everything is about legacy. And so ultimately, I know you have 4 kids, you got 4 amazing kids, you can pass on your legacy, so to speak. They are your legacy, if you will. We don't have kids, I've been blessed to mentor some folks, and I also have a book now. I've got it, I've got several
Love it.
things, talks, whatever. To me, what we leave behind is, you can't take, listen, you can't take money with you, you can't take material things with you, but you could leave a message, you could leave something, a mindset, perspective. That's my idea of legacy. And I'm curious. So community, type in hashtag legacy, and we're gonna close things down pretty soon here. So here's the question, Anthony. When people look back on their lives, what do you think they'll remember the most about the work they did?
I think the thing that they'll remember most isn't the work they did. It's
Mm,
the people in their life.
I love that.
The money, the impact, these different things, they're nice. I
Yeah.
just don't think anything is worth the real friendships, relationships that are much rarer because there's
Yeah.
not enough words in the English language for friend. There's
Yep.
just this one word, and it covers a lot of things. It's really coworker, acquaintance, mutual interest, but real friends, the few people in your life that you have real relationship, that see you, that you see, your significant other if you have one. It's the people, I think, that matter. And all the work that we do, I think that the most important thing is that, are we enjoying it? Are we living our life in the present? And are we doing things that make us feel fulfilled and make us enjoy the temporary experience of living? If other people like it or don't, I don't know if it really matters. You're dead.
Yeah.
It helps other people. That's a great benefit. And I do believe that one of the main things as a person we want to do is we want to alleviate human suffering. I think that's always an
Mhm.
excellent thing. My goal is in everything I do is to alleviate suffering, to make things better, whether it be a laugh, it be a lesson, it be a talk, it be coaching, it be a system that we build, whatever it is. But the impact that is left behind it's how did you live your life?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the experience that you did? Did you do things that you love? Did you do things and have adventures and enjoy time with people that you love? Because if you just pile up a bunch of money and everybody in your life is based on some type of power, authority position and some type of transactional business, that's not a real relationship in my opinion. That's very different. So at least for me, I want to live a life that I love. I want to look someone in the mirror that I'm proud of and I don't compromise my integrity. I want to be willing to have the financial resources to do things that I believe are right and my family not have to suffer from me taking a stand. And I want my kids to have the courage to never emulate me, never do what I did, to do and have the courage to be who they're meant to be, to
Mm.
find their own walk through the woods, and to be the kind of person where they have the permission to be their own unique self and don't believe that they need to be me or anyone else around them and get caught up in this bullshit nonsense of society and what other people are telling them they should be.
I felt like you got a little emotional there. Am I right? Did that touch your heart a little bit?
That's that's about as emotional as I'll get in public, but
But
yes.
I felt a little bit something there. But that was amazing, and I
It's
appreciate that. I
important.
respect that tremendously.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony. This has been great. I know you
Thank you for
wanted to
having me.
kind of say again. Sorry.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, of course. I know you have maybe some final words and best way to community to reach you, and
Yeah.
any other thoughts here. I'd love to hear as we close things down.
Yeah, so we missed the mark on my new website. It should be out hopefully by tomorrow, but sparkachangecoaching.com. So I have a network marketing business I love. It's been the foundation of my life, but my passion's coaching. So I have a coaching business, personal and business coaching. I have quite a few clients. I just helped I have a guy do his first $1 million sales month that's been really struggling for a few months, and a whole bunch of big earners. I have a guy that's a sales rep or a sales manager of 40 people that makes a real big income. I've been helping teach leadership, but anyone wants coaching, give you half an hour for free, an intake. I only work with a few people because it really needs to be beneficial. It's really an act of service for me. I do have a virtual assistant placement company. Anybody needs some help with some people along those lines, that's Founder's Right Hand. But you can find everything on my Spark of Change website. I have an AI integration business helping people with small business, medium-sized business, and some tools for sales organizations. But if I could be of any service, if I could connect, you could text me. My cell phone 631-327-2241. Been giving that out for years. I've only had one crazy person, and
Okay.
almost no one is going to reach out. But if someone's got the guts to reach out and I can help, I'm happy to be there.
If you could, just put it in the comments if you have a chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to close the show down here, but appreciate you. Amazing. Thank you again for doing the work you're doing, which again, it's not a call. It's not work. It's calling, but I love it. And just appreciate you. So thanks again. And enjoy that beautiful family behind you and the beautiful facility you have there, compound. It's amazing. So thank you again, Anthony.
Very thankful. Thanks, Steve. And make sure you reach out. If any of these episodes have helped, reach out to Steve. He does a lot of work. You talking into the ether, you don't hear a lot of the good feedback. If any of these episodes have impacted, please reach out to Steve because he does tremendous amount of time and effort doing this. And it's very rare that you hear the impact that you're making, and that can go a real long way.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Anthony. All right.
Sure.
We'll talk soon. God bless. Awesome. Wow. Well, good stuff. Well, hey, listen, if you found that amazing, which it absolutely was, you join us next week, same bad time, same bad channel, for Why Being Human Matters by Joshua Lee. It's going to be a great episode. Don't miss it. And if you're interested in learning more about some of the up and coming shows, go to masterconnector.show, as well as also to be a guest. And also if you wanted to see some of the up and coming episodes that we have coming up, like next week with Joshua. So it's going to be great. But I want to close it down with a quick story. And, you guys know I love these stories, right? So many people know Viktor Frankl for writing Man's Search for Meaning. But what often stands out is that after surviving unimaginable suffering, he concluded that people can endure almost any hardship when they have a sense of purpose. He believed meaning wasn't something we found by accident, but something we choose through how we live and serve others. Many people choose purpose over comfort, fulfillment over applause, and become a beacon of light. So let's make sure we do that for sure. Let's be that beacon of light. God bless you guys. Have an amazing holiday weekend, and I am going to try to find how the closing video here. So appreciate you guys. Thank you, and Anthony. Amazing. God bless. We'll see you next week.
Yo, welcome to the Master Connector Show, where the real ones pull up and the energy grow. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we live